Nice to be here with everybody. I have been absent for the last few Sundays with other teaching, and I don't need one. Who needs one? There we go. So anyway, it's nice for me to be back and to be practicing with all of you. For those of you that have been coming on Sunday mornings, you know we've been weaving our way through an exploration of the Paramitas, the 6 perfections, or another way of translating that is going beyond. And I'm going to talk this morning about the Paramita of Dhyana, concentration or meditation. And I'll be referencing 2 texts in this talk this morning, the Anapanasati Sutra, which is from the Pali Canon. It's the sutra on the full awareness of breathing, and also the Fukanza Zengi, which was written by Dogen, the father of our lineage of Zen. And we read the Fukanza Zengi this morning. And as we were chanting it, something stood out to me that I just wanted to underscore. The character of this school, Soto Zen, is simply devotion to sitting, total engagement in immobile sitting. So, obviously, our sitting practice, our meditation practice, is of prime importance, central practice here. I can't and won't even try in this 40-ish minute talk to offer an exhaustive commentary on the Anapanasati Sutra, which is what you're holding in your hand, or an exhaustive exploration of the Fukanza Zengi. Each of these writings is so deep, rich with meaning. They're windows into the breadth and the depth of meditation practice. So my aim in this talk is to introduce you to the teachings of these 2 texts and what each of them might offer you, because I feel that each of them has something different to offer. And then I give you an invitation to continue your exploration of Dhyana, meditation, through practice, because that's where the window really opens, is more through practice than through reading. So the Anapanasati Sutra are Buddha's instructions on the awareness of breathing. He offered these instructions to his followers on the night of a full moon and begins this way. This is how it's written in the Pali Canon. It is like this, bhikkhus. Bhikkhus is how he referred to his followers, his disciples. The practitioner goes into the forest or to the foot of a tree or any deserted place, sits stably in the lotus position, holding his or her or their body quite erect, and practices like this. Breathing in, I know I'm breathing in. Breathing out, I know I'm breathing out. And then the Buddha enumerates 16 contemplations. This is what's on your handout. And they're divided into 4 categories. The contemplation of body, the contemplation of feelings, the contemplation of mind, and the contemplation of wisdom. And there are 4 contemplations for each of these categories. The first 4, the contemplations of the body, include the breath, because it is in the body that we experience the breath. So it starts like this. Breathing in short. I'm aware I'm breathing in short. Breathing out short. I'm aware I'm breathing out short. Breathing in long. I'm aware I'm breathing in long. Breathing out long. I'm aware I'm breathing out long. Breathing in, I experience the whole body. Breathing out, I experience the whole body. Breathing in, I calm the body. Breathing out, I calm the body. So note the emphasis on awareness. I am aware of breathing in long. I am aware of breathing out long. Awareness, he's pointing us to be aware of the quality of the breath. He's giving the example of a long breath or a short breath, but maybe it's a jagged breath. Maybe it's a shallow breath. Maybe it's a deep breath. Maybe it's a rapid breath. Did I say that already? A slow breath. The quality of breath changes. So the first is to bring awareness to the breath. And specifically, the Buddha is instructing us to put your awareness on the quality of the breath. And contemplation of the breath naturally leads to the experience of the body, because the breath is moving in the body. So that's the next contemplation. Breathing in, I experience the body. Breathing out, I experience the body. And when we follow the breath in the body, the fourth contemplation naturally emerges, a calming of the breath and the body. There are 3 more groupings of 4 contemplations that follow a similar pattern, and I used a shorthand on your handout. If you were to recite the contemplation in its full form, breathing in, I experience joy. Breathing out, I experience joy. Likewise, breathing in, I experience pleasure. Breathing out, I experience pleasure. And the same is true for mental processes and calming mental processes. The second contemplation, the second set of contemplations is really pointing to feelings, being aware of feelings, which we don't see a lot of writing about in Zen literature. But obviously, there is an importance here. And I think of John Wiley's talk last week on the Paramitas, where he spoke of practicing with difficult feelings. When anger arose about your wife's physical therapist, right? You practice with it, sitting with it, before you acted, before he acted. I'm talking to him, but I'm talking to you. And this is what practicing with the contemplations can develop the capacity to do, to sit with whatever emerges. After the contemplations of emotions, the contemplations of mind, experiencing the mind, pleasing the mind, steadying the mind, and liberating the mind are the 4 instructions. And finally, contemplations of wisdom, including impermanence, dispassion, cessation, and relinquishment. So that's a brief summary of the Anapanasati Sutra. Anapanasati is comprised of 2 words. Ana refers to life force energy coming in and out, the breath. Apana is the waste that's expelled, letting go. And the sutra itself is concerned with the entire process of breathing and letting go. Dogen refers to this letting go as dropping body and mind, a more ultimate sort of letting go. What strikes me about the Anapanasati Sutra is how very detailed and prescriptive meditation instruction is as given by the Buddha. Because in our Zen tradition, for those of you that have been hanging around, you know it's kind of bare bones, it's kind of brief in its instruction. In our tradition, shikantaza is emphasized. Just sitting. That is exactly what shikantaza means. It's literally translated just sitting. No particular technique, contemplation. It's sometimes referred to as the non-method. Dogen, our lineage founder, does offer brief instruction on shikantaza, and we get some also through the Fukanza Zengi. He encourages us to sit in an upright posture, to settle in open, non-conceptual awareness, and to allow of thoughts to emerge and pass away. But not much instruction on how to get there, how to get to that place where thoughts emerge and pass like clouds, where we settle in non-conceptual awareness. Some of us have been instructed to count the breath. I've never seen this instruction in Dogen's writing, the technique of breath counting, but it is an ancient teaching of the Tendai Buddhist tradition. And at some point between Dogen's life in the 1200s and our modern day world, it was understood by our teachers that we need a technique, something to help us focus our mind. So this ancient practice of breath counting was offered. Suzuki Roshi, the founder of San Francisco Zen Center, encouraged breath counting. I learned breath counting at Green Gulch Zen Monastery from Norman Fisher 35 years ago. Counting to 10, he instructed me on the exhale, because the exhale emphasizes letting go. But I want to take a little closer look at what Dogen did offer through the Fukanza Zengi. It begins like this, and you can open to it in your chant book if you like, or just listen. The translation I have here might be slightly different than what's in your chant book. It starts, "The way is originally perfect and all-pervading. How could it be contingent on practice and realization? The true vehicle is self-sufficient. What need is there for special effort? Indeed, the whole body is free of dust. Who could believe in a means to brush it clean? It is never apart from this very place. What's the use of traveling around to practice? Yet, if there is a hair's breadth deviation, it is like the gap between heaven and earth." So here's what I think he's telling us. The way is originally perfect and all-pervading. The way is right here. We are already Buddha. How could it be contingent on practice and realization? So why bother with practice, he's saying. The true vehicle is self-sufficient. What need is there for special effort? Indeed, the whole body is free from dust. Again, we are already liberated, pure and untainted, free of dust. So he asks, who could believe in a means to brush it clean? It is never apart from this very place. What is the use of traveling around to practice? You could also say, what's the use of trying this practice or that practice? It's already here. then he tells us, yet if there is a hair's breadth deviation, it is like the gap between heaven and earth. So first he tells us the way is all-pervading. And then he says, if there's the slightest deviation from the way, the gap between who we really are and who we take ourselves to be is as wide as the space between heaven and earth. And I think this is often how we feel. Far or disconnected from Buddha, our true nature, trapped in our identity, unable to access the equanimity and liberation we associate with Buddhahood. So Dogen suggests Zazen. He stresses the importance of dedicated practice. And he stresses this by citing the examples of both the Buddha and Bodhidharma, who brought Buddhism from India to China. In the Fukanza Zengi, he writes, need I mention the Buddha, who was possessed of inborn knowledge? The influence of his 6 years of upright sitting is noticeable still, or the Bodhidharma's transmission of the mind seal. The fame of his 9 years of wall sitting is celebrated to this day. Since this was the case with the saints of old, how can we totally dispense with negotiation of the way? This is so classically Dogen. First, he tells us the way is all-pervading. What need is there for practice? Then, he's asking us, how can we dispense with the negotiation of the way? How can we dispense with this practice? I think this is why so many people find Dogen frustrating, because often within his writings, he contradicts himself. But it's not an either or. It's a both and. Yes, you are already Buddha, each and every one of you sitting in this room. But life happens. It happens to all of us. We're conditioned by our upbringing, by our culture. Our life experience leaves an imprint on our soul. I know this term is not often used in our tradition, but for me it conveys the experiencer, the one who experiences. How we experience ourselves and our life reflects the imprinting of our history, our childhood, our culture, our language, maybe the religion we were brought up with or the religion we currently practice, so on and so on. Some imprinting we experience as positive, other negative. But what Buddhists do agree on is that none of this imprinting is real. The imprinting leaves us with a set of beliefs about ourselves, self-concepts, and self-identities. So, we are both enlightened and deluded simultaneously. This reminds me of something Suzuki Roshi would often say. You are already perfect, and you could use a little improvement. Right? You are already Buddha. The way is all-pervading, as Dogen says, but life happened to you and to me. So here we are. Maybe feeling lost or confused. Somehow it seems like we've lost this all-pervading way and are looking for a practice to show us the way, a path back to our true nature, our wise and compassionate self. Dogen does offer a couple techniques in the fascicle of Fukanza Zengi. He emphasizes the environment suitable and the position that's optimal for sitting practice. He says, for Zazen, a quiet room is suitable. Eat and drink moderately, cast aside all involvements, and cease all affairs. Do not think good or bad. Do not administer pros and cons. Cease all the movements of the conscious mind, the gauging of all thoughts and views. Have no designs of becoming a Buddha. So here, for Zazen, a quiet room is suitable. He is kind of echoing the Buddha's instruction, which is to go to a forest, sit under a tree, to remove yourself from the busyness of the world. Let me find where I was. Then he tells us, Dogen, to have no preference, to cease all movement of the mind, and have no goals of attainment of liberation. I don't know about you, but to me that is easier said than done. He follows by giving very practical instruction, going into great detail about positioning and posture. At the side of your regular sitting, spread out a thick mat and place a cushion above it. Sit either in the full lotus or half lotus position. In the full lotus position, you first place your right foot on your left thigh and your left foot on your right thigh. In the half lotus, you simply press your left foot against your right thigh. You should have your robes and belt loosely bound and arranged in order. Then place your right hand on your left leg and your left palm facing upwards in your right palm, thumb tips touching. Thus, sit upright in correct bodily posture, neither inclining to the left or the right, neither leaning forward or backward. Be sure your ears are in line with your shoulders and your nose in line with your navel. Place your tongue against the front roof of your mouth, teeth and lips both shut. Your eyes should remain open, and you should breathe gently through your nose. So I think this is Dogen's way of saying, pay attention to your body. Be mindful of your posture, the alignment of your spine, your mudra, your eyes, the gentle flow of your breath. Similar to the first four contemplations of the Anapanasati Sutra. Although expressed quite differently, both Dogen and Buddha gave deliberate instructions on grounding your awareness first in the body. This is the foundation of practice. Contemplation of the body is the first set of contemplations in the Anapanasati Sutra. Awareness of the body precedes practicing with awareness of feelings, of mind, and of wisdom. In Fukan Zazengi, Dogen continues, once you have adjusted your posture, take a deep breath. Inhale and exhale. Rock your body right and left and settle into a steady, immobile position. Think of not thinking. How do you think of not thinking? Non-thinking. This is the essential art of Zazen. Think of not thinking. How do you do that? Non-thinking, he says, to us that may seem rather obscure, but I think it's his way of saying there's no need to stop thinking or to cease all activity of the mind. Instead, he's suggesting non-thinking, which I believe is his way of saying, don't engage with the mind, don't engage with the thoughts. Thoughts will come, but just as they arise, they will pass. So in Zazen, you practice awareness or mindfulness of thoughts without engagement with them. The practice is to let the train pass without jumping on it, This is the essential art of Zazen, he says. And this is reflected in the Anapanasati Sutta, or you could say, since Dogen came later, his writing reflects the Anapanasati Sutta. Breathing in, I experience the mind. Breathing out, I experience the mind. So the contemplations of the mind, pleasing the mind, steadying the mind, liberating the mind. There's a couple books I referenced on the Anapanasati Sutta, and one of them is this book by Larry Rosenberg, Breath by Breath. And he offers very in-depth commentary on each one of the 16 contemplations. And the first contemplation of the mind, the 9th contemplation, he says this about it. I really appreciate his acknowledgement here of working with the mind. He says, the challenge of the 9th contemplation is allowing the mind thoroughly and fully just as it is. We're learning to observe states of the mind in a friendly way instead of identifying with them, resisting them, or rejecting them. The point is to change our mind from a battlefield where we're fighting these states, mind states, or getting lost in them, hopping on the train. He says, the point is to change our mind from a battlefield to a place of peace where we can coexist with these states. End of quote. And I think the spaciousness, the acceptance, the openness that he's inviting us to practice with is what's necessary for what Dogen calls non-thinking. Letting the train pass. After shining the light of awareness on the mind, the Anapanasati Sutra continues. Gladdening the mind, breathing in, gladdening the mind, I breathe out. This contemplation points us to knowing the Dharma as a source of joy. I think most of us that have practiced for a while would agree that we experience happiness through the practice of the Buddha way. Larry says it like this, Larry Rosenberg, a concentrated mind is a happy mind. So back to the Fukanza Zengi. Dogen writes, the zazen I speak of is not learning meditation, it is simply the Dharma gate of repose and bliss. You can hear the echoing. The practice realization of totally culminated enlightenment. This is the manifestation of ultimate reality. End of quote. This is the part of the Fukanza Zengi that I think really expresses one of Dogen's primary teaching, which is that practice is enlightenment. We don't practice to get enlightenment. He already told us in the beginning of the fascicle that the way is all pervading. It's right here, right here. His practice assumes a faith in just sitting. With a little instruction, after finding a suitable place for sitting, he invites open awareness and non-thinking. But speaking for myself, I have needed, over my years of practice, an object of concentration for my mind. Following the breath, counting the breath, mindful of body and posture has really helped me strengthen my concentration and stabilize my mind. But I have found that after many years of breath counting, I can count on autopilot. I can count my breath and be thinking about something else all at the same time. Have you ever experienced that in Zazen? Jiryu, who's the abbot at Green Gulch, he referred to that as having multiple tabs open in the mind simultaneously. So in the last couple months, I've been working with the verses of the Anapanasati Sutra. I've added Buddha's recommendations to my practice. I've been going through a challenging time. I've been feeling less stable in my life, less steady in my concentration. And I've really needed a focal point to help me stay present with the body, with the breath, with what's happening, feelings, sensations. And so I've been working in the way that Thich Nhat Hanh encourages in this book, Breathe You Are Alive. This is his commentary on the Anapanasati Sutra. And he really encourages working with the verses like gathas, what he calls gathas, which are little meditative verses to concentrate the mind, right? To actually recite as I meditate. Breathing in, I'm aware of my breath. Breathing out, a long breath. Breathing in, I'm aware of my body. Breathing out, sensing my whole body. So, Thich Nhat Hanh encourages finding language that is authentic and reflects who you are, how it would naturally come out of you. So for me, it doesn't naturally come out breathing in a short breath, I'm aware of a short breath. Breathing out a short breath, I'm aware of a short breath. But for me, it might, breathing in, rapid. Breathing out, rapid. Noting the quality of the breath. And then as I sit with that, the quality of my breath, it happened. Just this morning when I was sitting, my breath started out rapid and I sat with it, and then breathing in slower. Breathing out slower. My breath slowed down. So the quality of my breath changed. And then I found myself thinking about my talk. I was rehearsing my talk. So yeah. So breathing in, I just kept practicing breathing in, rehearsing, breathing out, rehearsing. And as soon as I noticed what my mind was doing, it was planning what I was going to say, it was rehearsing what I was going to say. As soon as I labeled it, and that's an insight meditation term, to label, I labeled the planning, I labeled the rehearsing, poof, the thoughts dropped away. And then I felt the nervousness in my body about giving a talk. This is still kind of new to me, but I've always felt a little nervous when the spotlight has been put on me. It's always a little like, ooh, not so comfortable. So that was the next. Breathing in, nervous. And I could feel the quality of nervousness in my body. Breathing out, nervous. And over time, that changed. So that's one example of how working with the verses has helped stabilize my mind in my practice. Thich Nhat Hanh uses these verses, but again expressed in his words, in walking meditation. So this is from his book, Breathing is Buddha. Excuse me, I said that incorrectly. Buddha is breathing, Buddha is walking. I enjoy breathing, I enjoy walking. Buddha is the breathing, Buddha is the walking. I am the breathing, I am the walking. There is only the breathing, there is only the walking. There's no one breathing, there's no one walking. Peace while breathing, peace while walking. Peace is the breathing, peace is the walking. So you could take any one of that, those were 4 different sets of 4, and just practice with one set over time, or another set. I suppose it's possible to practice this way with any of the 16 verses of the Anapanasati Sutra, but I personally, and just working with it in the last couple months, haven't gotten past the first 4 verses. But part of why I wrote out the Anapanasati Sutra and gave it to you on a piece of paper is so if you want to go home and work with it, you can. And if you weren't one of the people that actually got the piece of paper, all you have to do is Google Anapanasati Sutra and it will be there for you. It will show up on your screen. I just want to say a couple more things that I hope it hasn't been too confusing as I've spoken today, going back and forth between these 2 texts, the Anapanasati Sutra and the Fukanza Zengi. They seem so different. Buddha's instructions are so much more detailed and prescriptive than Dogen's. I personally find Dogen's teaching incredibly inspiring. I love Dogen, but I need both. I need the inspiration that Dogen offers, and I need sometimes clear instructions. What do I do? So I want to end this talk with some encouraging words offered by Dogen at the end of the Fukanza Zengi. He says, "Devote your energies to a way that directly indicates the absolute. Revere the person of complete attainment who is beyond all human agency. Gain accord with the enlightenment of the Buddhas. Succeed in the legitimate lineage of the ancestors' samadhi. Constantly perform in such a manner, and you are assured of being a person such as they. Your treasure store will open of itself, and you will use it at will." Again, I just find Dogen so inspiring. I was hoping, and I wasn't sure, that if at the end of this talk there would be time to practice with the Anapanasati Sutra. There's a little bit of time, so I'd like to invite you to bring your eyes to a soft gaze. I'll guide you through meditation. Take in the words that are helpful to you. Ignore me if that's more helpful. So as you turn your attention inward, first notice the movement of breath in your body. Where does the body move with the breath? Where does it not move with the breath? Can you name the quality, a quality of your breath right now in your mind? And use that with the verse, breathing in a short breath, breathing out a short breath. Whatever the quality of your breath is, you fill in. Does the quality of the breath change? How does the quality of the breath affect your experience of your body? Breathing in, short breath, breathing out, whole body. You fill in. What's the quality of your breath? Breathing in, rapid breath, breathing out, whole body. That's my verbiage. What's your verbiage? And if you notice a quality of calm emerging Then you can move to the fourth contemplation, breathing in full body, breathing out calm. Or sometimes the words that come to me are breathing in calm, breathing out letting go. What is it for you? Staying with your experience, settled in the body, start to open the eyes wider, taking in the room and our Sangha. I realize that was a short guided meditation, but what we had time for. I'm wondering if anybody would like to share verbiage, expression of these verses that emerged in you, your own gata, as Thich Nhat Hanh calls it. Or, yeah, go ahead, Janet. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The quality of the breath. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. That's an interesting thing to practice with, huh? Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Anybody else? Is this way of practice new to people? I think it's more similar to the insight meditation tradition, how they practice with labeling. But yeah, it's Buddha's instruction. Were you going to say something? Yes. Yes. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes. A lot of similarities.
And that led me to thinking about how the Buddha kept on teaching the same over and over again with different words, with different approaches. And so does Dogen.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of all leading, pointing it at the same moon.
Yep. It's all pointing to the same moon.
My finger.
And every Zen teacher I've ever met, same thing, says the same thing, like what you were just saying, says the same thing, but in many different ways. Yeah. There's really only one thing I think we're talking about here.